In the last couple of videos, I mentioned a person who will play a very important role in future events, because his appearance will really mean that we are at the end of the age of the Gentiles. We met him in Daniel chapter 7, in Daniel chapter 9, in Matthew chapter 24, in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and in the book of the Revelation chapter 17. He will unite the world against God's people on earth. We saw that in Daniel chapter 7, but we also see it clearly in chapter 13 of the book of the Revelation. In verse 5 we read, "The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies, and to exercise his authority for 42 months. He opened his mouth to blaspheme God and to slander his name and his dwelling place and those who live in heaven. He was given power to make war against the saints and to conquer them. And he was given authority over every tribe, people, language and nation. All inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast, all whose names have not been written in the book of life belonging to the Lamb that was slain from the creation of the world. He who has an ear, let him hear. If anyone is to go into captivity he will go. If anyone is to be killed with the sword he will be killed. This calls for patient endurance and faithfulness on the part of the saints." There is a man coming called the Beast in the book of the Revelation, who will deceive the whole world so that they will worship him, and he will use that power to imprison and kill God's people on earth, the saints. Reading these prophecies about the future, one thing might have been difficult to understand until fairly recently. It's how quickly the beast actually convinces the whole world to follow him. It says that he will have authority over every tribe and nation on earth, and that all the inhabitants of the earth, all of them whose names have not been written in the book of life, will be deceived by him. Yet look at how little time he has to accomplish this. Only 42 months, that's 3.5 years. Nowadays, messages and images can be sent across the world almost instantaneously, and you can now travel around the world in an airplane within a couple of days. We have worldwide telecommunications, the internet, television. This man of the future will be able to communicate his message into every home throughout the world without any problems at all. But consider what it was like before television, and ask yourself whether or not this prophecy could have been fulfilled before recent times. Before we leave chapter 13 of the book of the Revelation, let me make another important point. It's about the type of religion that the beast will preach. We find it in verses 16 to 18. "He also forced everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on his right hand or on his forehead, so that no one could buy or sell unless he had the mark, which is the name of the beast, or the number of his name." This calls for wisdom. If anyone has insight, let him calculate the number of the beast, for it's a man's number. His number is 666. There's been a huge amount of speculation about the number found in these two verses. In Hollywood movies, the beast is presented as being born with this number in a birthmark on his head, but that isn't what these verses say. Look again at what the number is derived from. It is the number of his name. Attaching a number to a name only makes sense in one religious belief system, and that's numerology. In some religions it is believed that the names of people can be reduced to numbers, and that those numbers can tell us something about the person with that name. Did the writer of the book of the Revelation actually believe in numerology? No, numerology has no place within Christianity, and these verses aren't endorsing numerology. Look again, the writer of the book of the Revelation didn't actually come up with the number 666. It is the beast himself. It is the beast who is using the number as an alternative to his name. We read, "He also forced everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on his right hand or on his forehead, so that no one could buy or sell unless he had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of his name." Numerology will be important in the religion of the beast, so if you are looking for possible routes for that religion in this world today, it wouldn't be a bad idea to consider first those religions where numerology is important. This man's message will not be the only thing that deceives the world, though. He will also seem to have supernatural power. Let's turn again to what Paul wrote in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. We have already considered the first few verses in an earlier video, but consider now the power of this man to deceive. In verse 9 we read, "The coming of the lawless one will be in accordance with the work of Satan, displayed in all kinds of counterfeit miracles, signs, and wonders, and in every sort of evil that deceives those who are perishing. They perish because they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason God sends them a powerful delusion so that they will believe the lie, and so that they will be condemned who have not believed the truth, but have delighted in wickedness." Paul writes that this man who is coming is not the Antichrist that you see in a Hollywood film, obviously evil, imposing his power on the world. The Antichrist of the Bible will instead be accepted by the world, because he will deceive them into believing his message by miracles and signs and wonders. There's another reason, though, why the world will be deceived, and this might shock some people. They will be deceived because God himself will ensure that they are deceived. Notice what Paul wrote again. "For this reason God sends them a powerful delusion, so that they will believe the lie, and so that all will be condemned who have not believed the truth but have delighted in wickedness." This verse will upset a lot of Christians. They will say, "But surely God is love. Surely he is not willing that any should perish. How is it then that God would want these people to be condemned, and want to ensure that they are deceived?" God gave his own Son to this world to open the doors of salvation to everyone who believes. The Christian message is the most evidence-based religious message in the entire world. But consider what the world has done with the message. Consider what the world has done with his messengers. One day God will say enough is enough. He has said that his Spirit will not always strive with mankind, and that the time is coming when the door of salvation will be shut. Let me leave you words from the last chapter of the book of the Revelation. "Let him who does wrong continue to do wrong. Let him who is vile continue to be vile. Let him who does right continue to do right. And let him who is holy continue to be holy. Behold, I am coming soon. My reward is with me, and I will give to everyone according to what he has done."